cool, you know.
Love it. All right, let's move it along to the defensive game plan. All right, number one, keep Philly out of 4th and short. Guys, there's nothing more demoralizing for a defense than to feel like you won that rep. You stopped them on 3rd down only for them to go out there and do the tush push and pick up that 4th down. It's such a crapshoot to stop the tush push. The number one way to stop it is exactly what Matt LaFleur and Coach Hafley said. Keep them out of that spot, right? Although it's nice that the rest of the league now acknowledges how the Eagles stretch the offensive rules by moving early on the tush push, the Packers still have to deal with it Monday night. It's a little smart-ass comment there for everybody that was making fun of us because we were like, hey, look, might want to look into this a little bit more. Some of the league shot it down, and now they immediately started complaining when they had to deal with the fact that the guards are moving a half a second freaking early on this tush push, right? So, again, we still got to deal with it, right? With the NFL officials refusing to acknowledge the advantage, the Packers need to put extra emphasis on keeping the Eagles out of 4th and short situations, all right? That's easier said than done, obviously, but this means playing under with leverage on 3rd down attempts. Treat 3rd and 7s like 3rd and 3s, right? Yeah. They're converting 78% of their 4th down attempts, Tim. So, again, just play with a little underneath leverage, knowing that on 3rd down, they're looking to do that. They're looking to take what you're going to give them to give themselves a 4th and short, Tim, to do the tush push, man.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And it's frustrating because you know if they're in that situation, you know what they're going to do. You see it coming, and there's very little to nothing you can do about it. Although I know we are one of the few teams who has successfully stopped a tush push before against this Philly offense, but you don't want to bank on that. You want to keep them out of those situations. And I agree with the assessment too. You know, 3rd and 7 is your friend. You know, they've got good 3rd down conversion rate as well. But if you can be disciplined on 3rd down and get off the field and don't put them in those 4th and shorts, because you know they're going to go every time. It's almost to the point where I don't think it even matters where they are on the field. I mean, if they're in a 4th and short, they're going to run that play, you know, unless we got them deep in their own territory or something. So, yeah, let's just stay out of it altogether.
Yeah. And again, guys, what it means is you're forcing them to throw the ball 12, 15 yards down the field, in some cases in the middle of the field on a situation where they like to just dink and dunk it on spacing concepts to put themselves in those 3rd and 3s, those 3rd and 4s, things like that, right? And then 4th and short. So with that being said, just play it a little aggressive underneath. You may have to adjust. We always talk about the different aspects, the different spots in the game where it's the first quarter, you're gathering information, right? Go in with this approach. And if they cut you apart, 13 yards down the field, 16 yards down the field, then you use that 2nd and 3rd quarter to kind of adjust and try to control that middle eight, right? But make them play left-handed, man. I can handle them beating us if they have to play left-handed and they're the better team. But I can't handle us just continuing to do the same thing like the rest of the league is just, oh, no, we'll let you have that on 3rd down. Then you look up and go, well, crap, that's right. They're the Eagles. They're going to go for it on 4th and 2, So let's just try to approach it that way, and you can always adjust for sure. So, again, their success rate on 4th downs, Philly is 5th best in the league, 78.5%. Green Bay's 6th best, 72.7% converting on 4th downs. Just mentioning that. Moving along. Number 2, stopping the pass. This isn't the Eagles of 2024, and this team can throw the football. They rank 7th in passing at 7.8 yards per pass attempt because they have a 3-headed monster in Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown, and Dallas Goedert. Okay, so you got 2 wide receivers who can stretch the field on you. One of them is an absolute monster. The other's a speed demon, and then you got Dallas Goedert working underneath. Both Smith and Brown are averaging over 11 air yards per target, with Brown being the yak guy. So this year, Brown is picking up a lot of yak yardage. Devonta Smith is stretching the defense over the top as well. Not that Brown won't, but that's kind of where they're making their hay this year. Again, both of them averaging 11 air yards per target. Pretty solid numbers there. And it says that Devonta Smith, who is having a great season, tallying a plus 41.9 receiving EPA while catching 80% of the passes thrown his way. Tim, if you can't cover them all, right? You got to kind of pick and choose. All right, let's try to take this guy away. If there's one you want to take away, me personally, it sounds like Smith is the one you want to key in on based on this year. As you can see, 588 yards receiving this year, probably because A.J. Brown's got a lot of coverage bracketing his way. He's got 395 yards receiving. But again, yards per reception, both of them over 13 yards per reception on the year.
Going to need a big day out of Carrington Valentine tomorrow night. Absolutely.
And I'm eager to see if he rises to the occasion. When AJ is lined up outside left on Carrington, we've seen what Carrington did with DK Metcalf. He handled his business, right?
Yep.
So don't be surprised if they try to pick on Keyshawn Nixon a little bit opposite side. But when they go to Carrington, man, he was this close to getting that interception last week, Tim. That game probably ends different. I'm excited when he gets his first pick of the year. So, again, man, they're struggling to run the football. The Philadelphia Eagles have struggled to run the football, keying on the pass. All right. Now, number 3, you can't just ignore the running game, right? Control the running game. The Eagles have struggled to run the ball on the road, averaging only 3 yards per rush attempt. Controlling the passing game should be the top priority, but you can't drift too far away from the run, as Saquon Barkley heated up in their last game. You'll also have to be very aware of their 6-back offense. That has its share of RPR, run pass run options, designs that has led to Jalen Hurts having 5 rushing touchdowns already this season. All right, keeping Philly off schedule while playing underneath on crucial third down. So remember what we said, Tim. Play aggressive underneath on those third down throws to keep them out of 4th and shorts, right? Make them beat you throwing the ball down the field, but also be well aware. That kind of goes hand in hand, Tim, playing with underneath leverage in case they do want to run an RPR and try to run the ball with Jalen Hurts. You're in a better position to even stop that aspect of their offense.
Yeah, it's hard to run RPR, when guys are playing underneath. If you're playing off, that play is going to eat you up all day, and we've seen Philly do it. So I agree with that assessment in this game plan here.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, just to kind of give you guys an idea of their rushing game here, Saquon Barkley, 519 yards rushing. He's averaging 4.1 yards per carry. That's an extremely low number for somebody like Saquon. His rushing yards over expected is a positive 71. Look at the rushing EPA, though, Tim, negative 15.8. So there's going to be tape out there where teams have stopped Saquon this year. I guarantee you, Matt LaFleur, Coach Hapley have watched that tape, and they're trying to formulate a plan like, hey, let's continue to do that to take away Saquon. But now you're probably having to adjust to the pass a little bit more. Jalen Hurts isn't averaging a whole lot of yardage, 3.6, but understand every time he does a tush push, that brings that number down, right? You're probably picking up a yard, 2 yards at best in most situations. So that number can be a little bit misleading. Also, don't forget about Tank Bigsby. Tank Bigsby had a pretty good game last week, if I remember correctly. On the year, Tim, 10 carries, 115 yards, 11.5 yards per carry. It's kind of the same thing that's happening with Green Bay's running attack, right? Teams are loading the box for Josh Jacobs, and we bring in Emmanuel Wilson. They lighten the box, and Emmanuel Wilson's gashing them, right? So you look at the yards per carry and think Emmanuel Wilson's having a better year than Josh Jacobs. Well, you got to watch the tape, watch the end zone cam, and you'll see he's running against a light box. Josh Jacobs is running against a loaded box. Does that make sense?
It does, and we have to be conscious of that, defensively, and regardless of the type of year Saquon's had. I mean, he's gonna get his carries, right? And also another guy that's effective in their passing attack as well. I don't think that gets talked about a lot. Saquon Barkley catching a swing pass out of the backfield can present problems for you if you get caught playing off too much.
Yeah, definitely. J. Cole says, I wouldn't underestimate Saquon. That's for sure. Yep. Amen to that, man. He could wreck a game in a split second.
Yep.
Yeah. So when you go to Tuesday players on offense, they've got a few guys. Jalen Hurts obviously having a great year here. He's grading out at 82.6 on the season. Obviously already got a Super Bowl under his belt. Starting in 2020, his grades were 56, 77, 88, 86, 81, 82. Tim, he is a top 10 quarterback in the league, man. There's no doubt about it. I think the dude plays the game the right way. He's a hard worker. His teammates love him. I just hate that he's playing for the Eagles, who they have a absolutely just toxic fan base. But it's hard for me not to like Jalen Hurts, the way he plays the game. And he's just such a respectful dude. He's earned the respect of his teammates and fans alike, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. We respect him. We don't fear him, though, right? We're gonna bring the thump against Jalen Hurts and the boys tomorrow. But whether it's with the arm or with his feet, like you said, this is a different Philly offense than we've seen these last couple of years. We've seen Jalen Hurts willing to air that ball out, and our safeties, man, we got to be on point tomorrow because they will take over the top shots on us, especially if we are playing aggressive underneath.
Yeah, Jen Wright said the fans are awful. They really are, man. There's such a rough fan base. Also, another Tuesday player, we kind of talked about it, Devonta Smith, grading out a 79.0 on the year. This dude, ever since he came in the league, Tim, my God, 77, 80, 75, 81, 79. Listen, you should be that good when you're the 10th overall selection, but they knocked that one out of the park, man. There's some teams that miss on those top 10 picks. Devonta Smith's a real deal, man.
Yeah, he's another game wrecker, right? I mean, for all the talk we put emphasis on AJ Brown. Devonta Smith is a guy that I'm a little bit concerned about. Again, hoping our backers are on point and our secondary, man, because they'll wreak havoc on you. And just when you're adjusting to that, they're going to hit you with that running attack. So if we get good corner play and good safety play, like I know we will, it should be a hell of a game. And we got to make it as tough as possible for these guys. That's all we can do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Next, AJ Brown. We talked about him as well. 74.1 on the year. But guys, you can look at that and go, he's having kind of a down year. When your grade's a 74 and you're having a down year, it says enough, right, about who this player is. His grades on his career, 81, 90, 86, 87, 90, 90, and then this year, 74. You can look at that and say, having a down year. You can also look at it and go, boy's poised for a breakout. So you can't let him get too far away from the game plan for sure. Great players having down years. This doesn't mean they're not Tuesday players. We talked about Saquon, but again, he's having a down year. He's grading out a 64 this year, right? He's averaging 4.1 yards per carry, but just like AJ Brown, at any moment, he can blow up and just absolutely take off, right? Obviously, a former number 2 pick in the draft. Saquon traded from the Giants over to the Eagles. He went absolutely ape crap last year, ripped the league a new one, and also led the Eagles to another Super Bowl title. So again, when you look at his grades throughout his career, 85, 72, 60, 59, 80, 70, 85, 64, maybe that's what he's going to be this year, Tim. But man, you can't sleep on the fact that at any moment he can go back to that 85 and just torch you.
Yeah, like you said earlier, I mean, there's a lot of football left in this season, right? Guys can turn things around and numbers can change in a few short weeks. So yeah, don't sleep on these guys at all. Saquon is a monster.
Another player that can be a game wrecker that's having a down year is Jalen Carter, 9th overall selection there in 2023. Guys, he came out his rookie year and dominated, 87 PFF grade. Last year, he dropped to a 73. He was still a solid play, right? And then this year, he's sitting at a 60.6 at the moment, definitely having a down year. Listen, Jalen Carter coming out of college, he should have been the number 1 overall pick, many people said, if you didn't need a quarterback, but there was character concerns there. That's emerged a little bit this year. I'm hearing some rumblings that maybe he's not playing as hard as he usually does. I don't know if that's the case. I haven't ISO-cammed him enough to say either way, but that was kind of a reputation coming out of college. Maybe he continues to have a bad year. When you look at how this defense is grading out right now, I'm not overly concerned about their front. But Jalen Carter, if he returns back to that 87 form there in 2023, at any moment, he could break out. Again, wouldn't classify him as a Tuesday player right now, but just know he and Saquon Barkley both lurking in the background. As the Eagles are playing football right now, what you've really got to key in on are those targets that we talked about, man, that 3-headed monster of A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and Dallas Goedert, along with Jalen Hurts, try to keep them out of those 4th and shorts to limit the tush push. So that is the game plan, guys. That's the game plan. Tim, you got anything else you want to add to the game plan here, man?
Real quick on Jalen Carter there. Let's try and run it. Let's try and run at him. He's a pass rusher. If we get an opportunity, he's out there. Let's try and run some, A gap rush or something right at him, and kind of take that pass rushing ability away from him at times.
That's a great point, and it's not just this year, right, Tim? I mean, that's been the weak spot of his game, according to PFF, starting since he came in the league. When he graded out at 87.4, his tackle grade was a 51.5. Then last year it dropped to a 27.4. This year it's holding side again at a 25.8. So that's a great point. Maybe try to run at him, right, and see if you can get them a little off tilt. So. All right, there you go. There's your game plan. If you guys are watching this video back later, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. What do you think about the game plan we put together on defense to stop their offense? Are we maybe overlooking Saquon a little bit? Do you think we hit the nail on the head there with Jalen Hurts and that 3-headed monster in their passing attack right now? I like Green Bay's chances against their passing offense. Again, when you look at the numbers, if I got it here, coverage-wise this year, EPA per dropback. Packers have been pretty decent. They're somewhere around the top 12. They've dropped here recently. Maybe expect them to have a bounce-back game. But, again, you cannot count on the Eagles to turn the football over. They are the NFL best at protecting the football and winning those turnover margins in that regard. So there you go as your game plan. Again, make sure you hit subscribe, click like, click the bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. If this is your first time tuning in, we appreciate y'all. Tim, that's the game plan, man. You got anything else? Anything else you want to hit before we get out of here? I feel like we've been talking ball all day, man. My wife is going to kill me.
No, man, just go Pack go and believe, guys, believe. You know, it's going to be a hard-fought game. There's every opportunity for the Packers to get the win and keep things going on the momentum that they've built early in this season. And it's going to be a fun one to be at, man. I'm going to be bundled up. Might get a little dusting of snow. You never know. You know, Monday Night Football under the lights. It's going to be awesome, man.
It is. It's going to be great, guys. And again, I think it's going to be a close game. Got to protect the football. And the main thing is just, like I said, keep them out of those 4th and shorts. So they can't – it's just so demoralizing. I know I said it earlier. You can't harp on it enough. If you allow that team – your defense feels like you got a victory, right? You got a victory. You stop them on 3rd down, and they just go out there and just steal the 4th down from you. That defense, next thing you know, their hands are on their hips. It's extended drives, the whole 9 yards. So don't be afraid to play aggressive underneath on 3rd downs. That's the main thing I took away from watching the tape. For sure. So, yeah, I like what Jen Wright says, blow out Philly. How cool would that be if this turned into the Pittsburgh game again, right? That would be absolutely awesome. You're talking about momentum.
It could happen. You know, you pull away and just close it out and get a little mini boat race there at the end would be nice. One thing I will say, speaking of the Pittsburgh game, let's keep that in mind. We talked about A.J. Brown. There's a couple of guys that are they get a little hot-headed on this Philly team, both sides of the ball. So it's important that everyone takes the Quay Walker approach. And, you know, not let anyone chirp too much and get you off your mental game out there because we cannot afford stupid 15-yard personal foul crap in this game or we're really going to kill ourselves. So just hopefully they got cool heads. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of jaw jacking and trash talk, but you got to stay cool. Take a page from Quay Walker's book. Let them get the 15-yard penalty, not us, right?
Definitely. Reality shift makes a good point. We've been blowing out the good teams this year. LOL. It's weird. You're struggling against some of the bad teams and looking like an all-world team against the really good teams in the league. And you know what that sounds like to me? It sounds like the youngest team in the league being a little inconsistent. So maybe they could put it together and start playing their best football here in the back half of the season, get themselves ready for the playoffs. That'd be absolutely awesome. So again, Packers control their destiny. Win, lose, or draw tomorrow. It's not the end of the season, guys. Understand, if you win that game tomorrow and you lose the next 3, you're in trouble. Yep. You could go out and lose tomorrow, win the next 3, and you're right back in the driver's seat. It's a long season, so let's all enjoy the ride, have a good time as the rest of the season story is told. Tim, appreciate your time tonight, bub.
Thanks for having me, Clay. Go Pack, go.
Absolutely. Everybody have a wonderful evening. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Probably do a live stream or 2 during the day. If I get a little bit of time, something shakes loose, we get a little breaking news, we'll come on here and talk a little ball with y'all. But y'all have an awesome Monday. Stay warm out there. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. And go Pack, go.
There we go. We out.
Bye, guys.